Hi, have you been watching the footage over the last couple of weeks on the television and the internet about the Black Lives Matters protests? Have you been heartened by the progress made or disheartened by the inability of some to engage appropriately? Have you taken part and now find yourself back at home and wonder what lasting difference you can make where you are? Have you wondered why this is still a live, burning issue after so many decades or centuries even of supposed rational thought and people having equality under the law? Me too. So today I'd like to add my thoughts with a quick rider. I am an imperfect, broken human being, and I still have a long way to go. A ton of things to learn and unlearn, very much so. So this video is not a destination, it's simply a snapshot on the way. And hopefully we can respectfully dialogue with one another in the comments down below. So with that said, welcome to COVID Faith, a series of almost daily videos started during the lockdown of the 2020 COVID pandemic. A conversation between me and you via the comments section about all sorts of topics raised by our journey through these unusual and sometimes very challenging times. So, on the Black Lives Matters, here's a bit of background of where I'm coming from. In Genesis chapter 1, right at the beginning of the Bible, we read, "And God said, let us make humankind in our image." An understanding of human beings embodying the image of God is a concept and theological doctrine in Judaism, Christianity, and parts of Islam, which asserts that human beings are created in the image and likeness of God. Now, philosophers and theologians have debated the exact meaning of the phrase for millennia. Following Jewish tradition, scholars argued that being made in the image of God does not mean that God possesses human-like features, but rather that the statement is figurative language for God bestowing special honour on humankind, which he did not confer onto the rest of creation. Likewise, it is argued that it is consciousness and the ability to speak, which is the image of God. Both faculties which differentiate human beings from animals and allows humans to grasp concepts and ideas that are not merely instinctual. In Christian thought, the image of God that is present in all of us has been partially lost through our brokenness, and that through the life, death and new life of Jesus Christ, humans can access God anew. Christian writers have stated that despite the image of God being partially lost, each person fundamentally has value, regardless of class, race, gender or disability. Although the varying interpretations of the exact meaning of being made in the image of God are many, the concept is a foundational doctrine of faith. As far as I can see, this means everyone, everywhere, is valued by God. There doesn't appear to be any discriminating criteria based on colour, creedal statements, ability or anything else. Just that humankind is made in the image of God. Some people would agree while disagreeing with me. They would say, yes, we are all made in the image of God. All lives matter. And yes, they do. And yes, they don't. It wasn't that long ago we were clapping for carers. Again, other lives, often from overseas and often black, Asian and minority ethnic, that matter and that have been overlooked in the past. And I'll put a link to a video that I did about that just up above now. Let me elaborate with a story from Jesus. Jesus tells the tale of the lost sheep. He tells of how the shepherd leaves the 99 sheep in the sheepfold and goes and searches for the missing one. Jesus uses the story to talk about how much rejoicing there is in heaven when a lost person is saved. the lost sheep is recovered. There may well be more than one understanding of what lost and saved means in this context, but here's the thing: the story works because the listener understands that the 99 sheep are safe and the lost one is endangered. It might not be in immediate danger, but certainly as night falls, a lone sheep is a vulnerable sheep. So the shepherd begins his search. That sheep's life is valued. That sheep's life matters. Does that mean the other 99 are valued less? Does that mean the other 99 matter less? No, of course not. All sheep matter. All lives matter. But in that moment, the one sheep mattered enough to be brought into the fold at a cost to the shepherd. And right now, black lives matter. They matter enough not to be treated differently. This sentiment was captured in a poster held up by a young protester in the US. Her placard read, "We said Black Lives Matter. We never said only Black Lives Matter. We know all lives matter. We just need your help with Black Lives Matter because black lives are in danger." The slogan and hashtag Black Lives Matter began on social media in 2013. So it's been a long time coming, getting to this point. Campaigning, awareness raising, voting, asking peacefully, petitioning for change, despite the repeated loss of black lives over the following 7 years. If a child was pushed over in a playground and cut her knee, we would rush to pick her up and apply a plaster. We wouldn't give plasters to everyone there, even though we would value every child present equally. Of course, all lives matter. We all know that. But in an ideal world, we would actually care for each other. But Black Lives Matter is precisely because black people have not been cared for. In Galatians chapter 3 we read, "There is neither Jew nor Gentile, neither slave nor free, nor is there male or female, for you are all one in Christ Jesus." This got me thinking about the ages-old hymn, "In Christ There Is No East or West," by the English journalist William Arthur Dunkley, also known by his pen name John Oxenham. I've added the lyrics down in the description below. The imagery is of people from all around the globe united in Christ. It strikes a balance between notions of unity, phrases such as close binding, one great family, one in Him, with diversity, whate'er your race may be. As I reflect on the hymn, the scriptures I've touched on, and the Black Lives Matter movement for justice, my hope is that together we can make a positive difference. That we can get to a place where we can look back and say, why did it take so long to do what was necessary and, with hindsight, obvious? There is much in our society that needs to be re-examined. There is much globally that needs to be rebalanced. But first, I humbly suggest that we might need to stop and listen. Listen to the voices of black lives. Listen without interrupting, without wandering off prematurely, without assuming, without projecting ourselves or our experiences, or those of somebody we know. Just listen. In doing so, the Spirit of God may well have something to teach us, somewhere to lead us, a gift to give us. So, call to action. If you can call to mind any artwork depicting Jesus, maybe you've seen a film or a statue or a picture in a church, are his features white, Western or Middle Eastern? How would changing them make you feel, and why? Is there someone you know who is black, Asian or of a minority ethnicity? Can you ask them to talk to you while you listen? Just listen. You could be the first person who has asked them to tell their experience. And given that much of our imported food comes from the global south at prices tilted to suit us rather than the grower, what's the most surprising fair trade item you've ever discovered? For me, it's gourmet jelly beans, £1.49 from Oxfam, and they're blooming delicious. But let me know in the comments, your most interesting fair trade product? Have you had the chance to properly listen to somebody who is black? And what would you feel if some artwork that you're aware of was changed? Have a think, have a listen, change your purchasing. And in the meantime, stay safe, live love.